your assumption will bring the invisible into sight. What do I mean by that? I want to share with you something that I discovered, and then it's very powerful. So let's just dive right in. So this is what Neville said: because creation is finished, what you desire already exists. I will explain to you what that means in a second. But it's excluded from view, right? What you desire exists, but it's excluded from view. So you can't see it externally because you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. This is very important to understand. Again, in a second, I will touch base on what that means and how you can make this work. It is the function of an assumption to call back the excluded view and restore full vision. It is not the world, but your assumptions that change. An assumption brings the invisible into sight. It's nothing more nor less than seeing with the eye of God. What could comfort you more than the knowledge that you don't have to wait for your dreams to come true? Right? They are nearer than here and sooner than now. So this knowledge can be very comforting if you really, really understand this. And I want to explain this to you right now. If you understand this, this is a key thing to understand, especially the second sentence, right? So first of all, Neville says, because creation is finished, what you desire exists. And that should make sense to you, right? That's why I always say, when you do have a desire, you can only desire that because it is in existence. Otherwise, how could you have the desire for that thing, for that version of you, to experience this new, change in your life? It is possible. It is available. Otherwise, you could not even have the awareness of that. Otherwise, you could not imagine that. So having a desire means that this is a state that you can dwell upon, that you can imagine as being done. And also let this statement and this truth that creation is finished, let this sink in your being. Don't just slightly think of that, oh yeah, creation is finished, cool, sounds good, sounds nice, what next? No. Creation is finished in and of itself. It means that whenever a desire comes up, that the wish fulfillment also exists, that it's done, right? Because you desire that state, so it's coming to the surface, so it's there, right? Creation is finished. Whatever you do desire right now, whatever you will desire in 5 years from now, it is all in existence. You are every version of yourself already right now, right? Everything exists at once, right here, right now. But this is more in the second slide, and we're going to talk about that. It's time for a short ad, because right now I am running my Christmas special offer, which is the largest sale I've ever done, where you can save $1,000 on my usual program price, and where you can also get a free one-on-one coaching session with me personally on top of that. This is only for 25 people, and this is only till the end of this year. So if that is interesting for you, then simply go to upgradeyourlife.com/Christmas or check out the link in the video description. And now enjoy the video. But here is the thing. So maybe you understand me as far where you say, okay, yes, I do believe my desire does exist. I do believe that if I desire that, I can manifest it. But here's now the important thing. It is excluded from your view. You don't see it in your sense world, right? You don't see it in the 3D world, in your circumstances right now. It's excluded from your view. But it does exist, right? You can view it in imagination, right? Through the eye of God, which is what we're going to talk about in a minute. So it's excluded from view because why do you don't see it outside? Because you can only see the contents of your own consciousness. What does that mean in return? It means that right now it's not part of your inner reality. It's not natural for you, right? You can only see the contents of what right now you have alive in you. So when you have this desire right now coming up to the surface, you also have to now activate it in your consciousness, right? You have to activate it in your inner reality, in your imagination, in your inner world. You have to make it certain, natural, stable. You have to shift in that state, right? You have to align with that state. And then since it's now part of your consciousness, your world can then also objectify that, right? Like Neville said, the world objectifies what you have alive in yourself. So, but your desired state is not alive in yourself as an accepted truth, as an accepted reality. But once you do that, then you will also see that in your view, in your sight, right? And that's the function of an assumption, right? An assumption helps you to call back the excluded view. So an assumption doesn't create something, right? We don't create it, but we assume that unseen reality, right? That unseen state, that unseen version of us. And by assuming it, we start to shift our awareness, our consciousness into that. We start to make it alive in us. And then since it's part of our it's content of our consciousness, it's then also reflected back. I really, really want this to make sense. Okay, so creation is finished. What you desire does exist. Point. Clear. Easy. Okay, what you desire does exist. That's very comforting to know. Right? You don't have to work for it. You don't have to, in a sense, suffer for it. It does exist in you, but it's right now not a content part of your I amness, part of your awareness. You right now haven't made it natural within yourself. Once you do, via assuming that, although you have no reason to assume it, your world doesn't conform yet, you have no reason to, there's no signs that it's there, but you can still start to assume the unseen, right? So it's not the world that we change, right? It's our internal world that we change, and therefore the external world changes, right? Because of we assume new things. And this assumption, right, brings the invisible into sight. So what's an assumption? Assumption is assuming a state that's right now not manifested in our objective external 3D world. Right? We assume something within, and that brings it into sight. Right? That is what manifesting is. And I have a video on this, by the way. If you're not even knowing what manifestation actually means, I will link this one above right now. Manifestation means making the invisible visible, making something that already is tangible by identifying with it. Right? That's also why I oftentimes speak about your hidden identity. Your desire is your hidden identity. It's a version of you that already has achieved it, that's already there since creation is finished, but it's right now hidden and not seen. And by you now assuming to be that, assuming to have that, it's done for you within, and then the mirror of life can also reflect it back outside. That's what we do when we assume things, right? Our assumptions will harden into fact when we persist in them. I do have a very, very, very powerful video on this, how to make your assumptions harden into fact, which I also linked above. So what do we do when we assume something unseen? We are seeing with the eye of God. That is imagination. Imagination basically is taking our awareness, our focus, our physicalized focus away, so we don't focus on what is, and by having our awareness dwelling on something that's non-physical, that's not manifested yet, that's not in our senses, that is what we coined imagination, right? Seeing with the eye of God, seeing the unseen reality, seeing other portions of creation, other, portions of consciousness, and by dwelling on them, we make them natural, and then we express them, all right? So, and that is very comforting. But you know that you don't have to wait for your dreams to come true. They are already true. You don't have to wait for your desire. Because people ask, how long does it take for the manifestation? How long does it take for the manifestation? Well, the manifestation is a consequence of the wish fulfilled. So the question means, how long does it take for the wish fulfilled? And it takes not 1 second, because you can right now go within and experience in you that mood, that state, that imaginative experience, that act, that scene, whatever helps you to anchor in the reality where you do have it. So the wish fulfillment can be encountered right now within, because the wish fulfillment exists in you, in your inner world. And by encountering it within, awakening it within, aligning to it within, our world simply reflects that back. So your dreams are nearer than here and sooner than now. They already happened. They're here and now, right? You are in them right now. Can you accept that? Can you have that paradigm? Can you open your awareness up so much that you stop being so physicalized and what you see with your senses, which is just a tiny portion of creation. Like there is so much more behind that. There's so much more that you can tune into when you become imaginative, when you become a little bit more imaginative and you see that you can tune into other things that also exist. And they exist when? Now. When are you encountering them in your imagination? Right now. Not in the future. Not time ago. Imagination is always right now. So when you close your eyes right now and imagine something, it's happening right now. Where is it happening? Here. You don't say when you imagine climbing a ladder, that's happening over there. No, it's here and it's now. It's in you, right? So let this comfort you. The understanding that your desires are done here and now in you, okay? So that video just should serve as a little reminder. Make it practical by, for example, watching my free masterclass. That's the first link in the video description. And if you want to embody those teachings, if you want accountability, help, coaching, step-by-step system, mentoring, all of that, I offer my program. That is the second link in the video description. And I look forward to hear your feedback and your comments, and I speak to you in the next one. Bye, guys.